Well, I guess it's just us now, finally. You know, just me, you. What's a little left of the Hold for Games in 2024? He's over there too. Hear me out, man. I'm coming off a hot streak of talking games for like my past few videos. Not that I don't enjoy it. I feel like Tupac in this diss track era. I'm pretty unfuckwithable. But y'all, I've been trying to talk about something a little more, uplifting and gaming that's been going on recently. Like today I had a whole video planned for talking about Helldivers 2, one of the most fun and engaging multiplayer experiences out right now if you're not arachnophobic or a communist. But all that dope stuff damn near has to get sidelined when big news for a game that even I was excited for comes out with controversial news, to say the least. It's just a prio thing, and that especially applies to when it's one of the biggest games releasing this year, being Capcom's own sequel title, Dragon's Dogma 2. Now, for some backstory, I played a little bit of Dragon's Dogma 1 a few weeks ago, since it was only around the time when Dragon's Dogma 2 trailer dropped when I first heard about what this series even was. It was one of those moments where I watched everyone get excited on the internet, like, yo, another Dragon's Dogma game, let's go. And I'm just sitting there watching this all like, another. So I had to school myself on this apparent 2012 classic to see what all the hype was about, and long story short, not that the game was terrible even for its time period, but it just didn't really click for me y'all like that. I didn't really have all that much fun playing. I don't know, I even created my character based off Ice Spice. You would have thought I would have been amazing. But the sequel title from the trailer still looked like some epic next gen gameplay that I had to get my little flesh grabbers on, so I decided to still keep my interest for the game, just not play it on day one and wait for gameplay since I didn't really like the first game. And that was my plan for the past few weeks. Finally, the game came out last night, and oh my god, if I wasn't tired, this video would have came out sooner because what the fuck? To start off on a forced positive note, gameplay wise, I can't really knock Dogma 2, at least right now. It looks pretty much like Dragon's Dogma 1, just with modernized controls and graphics, which people really liked from the first game. So I guess if you enjoyed that, then you'll be able to find some fun in this game. The story from the first hour of the game that I saw was okay, nothing to give out Emmys to the writers over, but not a terrible job either. Where the game took place is basically Dragon Dogma 1's setting of Grancis, but sort of expanded. Just an okay title gameplay wise all over, but however, the big issue that's gonna set this game back way more than it pushes it forward is with all of the game's prices. Yes, plural. They unfortunately went balls deep. You see, Dragon's Dogma 2 is a single player experience only game that has microtransactions for little gameplay features players feel that have no reason to be charging for. At first glance at the game's Steam page, you might think that the game just has, a few common paid extras like, the soundtrack, some cosmetic pendants, this doesn't really seem that crazy, how could it be that bad? Balls deep. It has almost $42 worth of microtransactions for things as simple as companion revives, items for fast traveling, the ability to access a character creator, some in-game currency, all stuff that you'll apparently be able to get in-game, but obviously at the cost of some challenge. So this microtransaction plan is being pushed to those that don't want to go through the intended challenges of the game and likely don't know about mods or can't use mods if they play on console. And combine all of those pieces with the fact that the game barely even works for a lot of people due to the expected day one glitches that almost all big games have nowadays, it was like a bad decision on Baldur's Gate 3 because everybody disapproved of that. And funny enough, Capcom was actually early to their own hate party as they released a statement early this morning apologizing to fans for how the game turned out. Now, they didn't say they removed any of the microtransactions, they just said that the game was going to get its bug fixed and that if you didn't like the game beyond that, then, well, that's tough. And overall, this situation is honestly something that I didn't even expect to see out of Dragon's Dogma 2, even a person that's seen as much wicked things out of the gaming industry like me. Now, of course, I gotta bring up the fact that, some people might be thinking that the game is still complete without the microtransactions and that you could just ignore them if you don't really like them, which is 100% true, but the big issue that concerns me and a lot of people is the big picture of the precedent that having a big single player game with even more paid features on regular game mechanics could set for the future. Not only is Capcom a company that's been on record to say that games should be even more expensive than the $69.99 price tag, which not even gonna go there right now, but this is also a company that's been pushing their games, including Dragon's Dogma 2, with digital rights management services that require an internet connection to make sure that you aren't pirating a game. Not to mention their ideology that mods are bad for their games and the speculated future where they intend to target all of the mods away from their titles. So I say all of that to say that if Capcom's single player business model works in Dogma 2 and they find a way to be profitable with this, microtransaction push, well, who's to say that even more big games with single player modes don't adopt the same practice and possibly even more egregiously? We all know that once Fortnite showed the world that players will pay for skins and cosmetics as long as the game was decent, every major game in the book hit Ctrl-C and Ctrl-V on that same mechanic. And that's led to the most money-hungry era of gaming that we have ever seen in existence. So who's to say that that same thing couldn't happen for single-player games like Dragon's Dogma 2 going forward, especially for those that don't have immediate access to mods? It's all just a lot to think about. If this game gets all of its bug fixed, Dogma 2 still won't be the worst release of the year as a game by itself. It's still, I still think it's decent, but I also think that it's going to be a nasty reminder that the age of gaming that we're in is almost always on a blood hunt after your pockets. So what do you guys think about Dragon's Dogma 2 and, all of this microtransaction stuff going on right now, man? Feel free to comment down below. If you like on the video, subscribe if you haven't already. Yeah, and I'll see you on the next one.